views and opinions expressed do not necessarily reflect those of Access Fort Wayne, the Allen County Public Library, or any other supporting groups. If you'd like to produce a show, call us at 260-421-1250.
Let me be your lighthouse so I can show you the way. Let me be your shining light, I'll keep you from drifting away. I'm the one that makes you try when...
Hey, this is Patricia Hunter, Patty's Page. Welcome to my show. Today's special guest on Zoom from Ottawa, Ontario, Canada, is Debbie Duval. And she is the National Capital Organizer for Campaign Life Coalition.
Thanks, Patty. It's nice to be here.
I'm glad you're on my show. I've been watching and reading Campaign Life Coalition's emails and all that. I've been very interested in what's happening in my own country. I'm down here in Fort Wayne, Indiana, so I still do the shows with Canada. So, Debbie, where were you born and raised?
Well, I've always lived in Ontario. I was born in Sudbury up north, a little further north. And then we moved down a little bit, and mostly my life has been here in Ottawa with my family, yeah.
And while you were growing up, who had influenced you?
I guess just my parents, you know. We were, just my parents, I think. That's about it.
So, you are pro-life, I take it?
Yes. I wasn't always, though. I wasn't always pro-life. I had a very different life up until I was about 32, and then I had a massive conversion of all things, and yes, I became very pro-life. I don't know if I wasn't pro-life before, and I think a lot of people think they are pro-life until you actually start asking them some questions. And then they're like, you know, they really aren't pro-life. Yes. Yeah.
Pro-life is a big word to fill in, really.
It really is. It's very, yes, it's pretty big.
So how long have you been a pro-lifer then?
Probably 30 years, for sure.
Okay.
30 years, yeah.
Good.
So, yeah, and I've been here with Campaign Life for about 9 of those.
9. And
well, I got married because of my little life choices. We got married very late. I got married later in life, and I stayed home with the kids. So we have 3 kids, and now we have 2 grandkids and a lovely daughter-in-law. So I stayed home. Yeah. So my youngest is still with us. He's just finishing his 4th year university, but the others have moved on, and my eldest has 2 kids.
So
and his wife.
Growing the family.
It is. So I chose to stay home. My husband and I made that decision, and so I stayed home for about, at least 20 years, and I sort of ran a little business on the side, a craft business.
Yeah.
In the later years, and I just sort of was feeling, I think maybe the Holy Spirit. I think that's what it's time to go out. I'm extroverted for sure, so it's hard to be home alone all the time. And when I was home, I was very involved in the schools. I was the chair of the parent council on both the grade school and the high school, all the way till my kids finished. And when I say chair, I was the chair plus I was the secretary. But I took different roles. But I always wanted to be really in the class, in the schools while my kids were there. I wanted to be very involved. So I was, and it was great. But I just sort of was feeling it was time to, I don't know, get out. And someone called and said, "Oh, there's this kind of admin job at Campaign Life. Are you interested?" And well, I came to the interview, and here I am. But it wasn't really an admin job. Maybe it started off as one, but it sure isn't one.
So how long have you been with Campaign Life Coalition?
I think 9 years.
9
Maybe
years.
9. Yeah. So
you were at a certain level. What role were you fit with when
Well,
you?
yeah, it's sort of it's a funny role. I truly thought it was sort of admin, do a little bit of this, but at that time we weren't really that online here in Ottawa because a Campaign Life is a national organization. It's a national nonprofit organization. We don't have charitable status because we choose to speak about the evil of abortion.
Mhm.
And in this country, if you speak about that, you're political and you don't get the charitable status. So we're a nonprofit. So we have offices around, but our head office at that time was in Toronto. Right now it's in Hamilton.
Mhm.
And so we were sort of a little outpost office, but we held the federal lobbyists because we lobby the federal government as well as the provincial government. And so we had that person here in our office. Plus, the March for Life is here on Parliament Hill. So
And you're
that's what
involved with the
happened.
March for Life, eh?
So that's a big, big part of my job is organizing the March for Life because it has so many moving parts. And we have a great team. My gosh, awesome team. But that does take up a lot of my time.
I wonder how long it takes to prepare for the March for Life, a whole year or?
Oh, yes. Well, yes. So we'll be finished because it's a week long of activities, which I guess we'll get to after. So we start almost right away after. We take a few months, we re-look at everything, and then we almost start because it's very hard to book speakers, as I think you are aware. We were talking a little earlier, and I think it's hard to get a hold of people to speak. It's hard to decide who should speak on what topic. So yeah, we start right away generating ideas, after we take a look at what's happened, you know.
Do you have guest speakers from the United States or just
Yes.
Canada?
No, often we have the United States. We've had some incredible speakers. Well, my gosh, over the years, incredible speakers. This year we have Dr. Callum Miller from the UK, but then we also have, and I'm going to read it because actually, that doesn't have it on it, but we also now are having not only Dr. Callum Miller, he's going to give his keynote, but then we've got 4 doctors, including Dr. Callum Miller, on a panel. And some are from the States, and one woman is a doctor, but she lives in the States now, but she was, I think, from Canada. And her specialty right now is the abortion pill. So it's going to be very interesting question and answer, with these 4 really, really great doctors. And some of the doctors are with 40 Days for Life. Are you familiar with that campaign?
I have interviewed all the head honchos.
Right.
40
So
Days.
they're big proponents. They're a big part of our March for Life this year. It's an excellent group, and we helped, I guess, bring them to Canada, and we work with them as well a lot. So it's going to be really fabulous this year.
Do you have to be a faith-based religious person to be a pro-lifer?
You don't,
You do.
but I don't. You don't. I don't know how you'd ever work in this without having faith, because it's a really tough business, and you're not well liked by anybody, frankly. The politicians don't like you. The average person on the street think we're fanatics, and even religious people. A lot of churches, they don't like to talk about this, and so they just don't want to talk about it. They don't want to come out as a woman hater, they say. So it's very interesting. So yeah, you have to have I don't know how you could work here if you weren't faith-based, but I know many pro-lifers who don't really, faith is not really a thing for them.
To teach the public about what abortion really is. That must be a lot of hard work, but even if one person gets the truth and does something about it to help the unborn and newborn.
Absolutely. That's exactly it. Even if one person, and we pray every day, okay, Lord, if there's someone with a unexpected pregnancy and they're thinking of terminating, Lord, put someone in their path.
Okay, let's talk about Campaign Life Coalition of Canada. What is the campaign's mission?
Well, CLC Campaign Life Coalition, that's our short form. We advocate for the legal protection of every human being from conception to natural death. No exceptions, no compromises, and no excuses. And that gets us in a lot of trouble.
I bet it does. A lot of people are blind.
Well, and not only that is in Canada, I'm not sure if you're aware, but we don't have any legal protection for the unborn whatsoever.
I know.
And that was taken away many years ago, which is the same. I'll have to explain our dates for our March too. Anyway, it was taken away many years ago. And so some people, and I know in the States it's different because you may already have a law that's there. So you fight to lower it sometimes. I think that's what happens in the United States. But here in Canada, we don't have a law. So we don't want a law. We want abortion to be abolished. We don't want to sign any kind of law that says you're allowed to kill children up to the age of 13 weeks in the womb. We don't want to do that.
And even
So-
after the child is born.
Oh, well, my gosh, that was proposed in Quebec just this year. Oh, yes.
Thank you, Trudeau. Really,
He's a tough guy.
he really is. Just like his father.
Oh, yeah. His father ushered all this in.
And your main duties is what?
Well, the funny thing about this, we can be doing anything, like we were at a conference last week it was a conservative conference. We do all sorts of things, but my main thing is the March for Life because it does take so long and there are so many itty bitty details. Also, we work with 40 Days, the campaigns that are here. We also have Life Change, so I'm involved in that. And we have other conferences that we do. We speak at different places. We try to encourage pro-life groups in the neighborhoods or in different churches to come alive and really stand up for both the unborn babies and those that are being assisted to die.
From the womb
So-
to the tomb. not just baby.
Absolutely. Yeah. So we're very involved in the political aspects too. That's what our goal is really, is we educate and help pro-life people to run in all levels of government, right from school trustee, which we've really realized is where a lot of this stuff really starts, school trustee, city councillor, onto provincial government and federal government. So that is our main, that's what we do. We have a whole rating system. We have an incredible political team who investigates and really all out like that. So they work on that all out. So that is our main, that is what Campaign Life Coalition does.
So I'm sure you have a lot of opposition for the March.
Lots of opposition,
Mhm.
lots of opposition for
Do
everything
you-
we do.
Are you working with the Christian Heritage Party?
Yes, yes, we always work with Rod Taylor. He's the head of that. And I was just speaking to him the other day, actually. And yes, wherever there is a candidate in a riding that is pro-life, and we evaluate them, we send them questionnaires, we want to hear back from them, we will support them. It doesn't matter what party they are. We are not a party. We are not a political party. We will support you if you're pro-life.
So in May 11th,
May 11th.
what is that?
May 11th, it's Thursday, May 11th, and that is the National March for Life in Canada, in Ottawa, which is the capital of Canada. Lots of people think Toronto's the capital of Canada, but Ottawa is. So that's the National March for Life, and people wonder, why is it on a Thursday, and why is it May 11th? Well, the omnibus bill, when Pierre Trudeau removed all protection, that was May 14th. So because we want the politicians to know and see and realize how many people out there support life, we do it on a Thursday because they fly home usually to their home ridings, like Thursday night or Friday. So we do it on a Thursday closest to May 14th. So this year it's May 11th.
So what
And
do you
that's
have?
the day.
What do you have planned for that day?
Well, for that day, we have masses and prayer services in the morning around the city. And I know across the country there are other places that have pro-life masses as well on that day. And then people arrive at the hill, Parliament Hill, at about 12. The rally begins at 12:30, and we have speakers for it's about an hour, the rally, and then we move out onto the streets. And we march around downtown Ottawa streets. We're back on the hill by 3-ish, maybe a little sooner. And then we have Silent No More, which you also have in the States.
Yes.
Okay, so we have a Silent No More testimonies and presentation. And then after that, we have closing prayer services. After that, we are at a hotel, and we have what we call the Rose Dinner, which you have also in Washington. We have a Rose Dinner, and we've had up to 500 there. And we have some fabulous speakers that I think we spoke about at the beginning, and Dr. Kellen Miller, and a lovely dinner. And it's a great time for pro-life people to be able to socialize. Like, we have people come from across the country, and it's just nice to see people and to see people and be encouraged and be able to socialize a bit.
Are we?
Right across the hall from us, though, is the youth bank. So again, we've had 1,000 kids before across the hall at this youth banquet, which is a dinner. And the next day is the youth summit. So it's a whole day of breakout sessions and training for the youth, so they can get up there and, fight for life.
So you're getting quite popular this March for Life.
Yes. Now since the shutdowns and everything, things have changed a bit. So we're now hopefully moving our numbers back up. Last year, we still had about 420 at the Rose Dinner, but because of the predicament we were in, there was no youth banquet. Just there was a youth summit, but it was a condensed group. So this year we're back to what we've been doing in the past.
Do they buy tickets?
Oh yes, they buy tickets.
So how many people so far are coming? It's in another month from now.
It's not quite a month away, close. Every now and then I look at the calendar and my heart palpitates. We got more to do.
Oh,
Anyways, so it's close. So we've done well with our tickets. I'm not sure about the youth. I don't know. I haven't talked to them recently, but I know we have a meeting today, so I'll have all the updates. But so far, I think we have over 200 tickets, so
cool.
That's pretty good.
How about do you work with pregnancy centers?
Actually, yes, we do. We have a few around here. And like yesterday, I was just talking to them because someone reached out and there's a young gal having trouble. And I just reached out to Birthright, and they are getting in touch with them today to give this young gal some help. And so we forward that on. I was out with one of my friends, with a group of friends from when I used to have jobs before I got married.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, and we were out, and I just said something, and they said, "Oh, that's where you work." And yeah, just think about babies. And I said, "Well, you can have an abortion up until 9 months." And they said, "No, you can't." I said, "Yes, we can. Absolutely. And paid for by you. Taxpayer dollars paying for all these abortions."
And you're educating the public with what you are doing, which is good.
Yeah. We have our team is ridiculous. They're bright and intelligent, and we've got a huge group of youth, and I'm not talking about kids. These girls are articulate. Anyway, and we have some really good information out on our website, on our podcasts, it's incredible, the information that they spread and share, and they're so active. So
are you reaching out to the laity, religious people, to try to educate them what's happening?
Oh, absolutely. No question. And a lot of clergy, they don't want to talk about this. They don't feel it's right.
Be educated, my dear. That's why I'm doing this.
It's very hard, and it's heartbreaking. It's heartbreaking when you speak to pastor of a church or someone and they say, "Oh, no, we don't want to put the March for Life posters up because controversy." One fellow told me he can't talk about abortion because what if people in the pews have had an abortion, and then I wouldn't be able to preach the gospel. But as we know, it would be good if that person was triggered and they could go get healing, because there's healing available.
Especially
There's healing, and it's not like we hate these people at all. These people are loved, and we would like them to be healed.
where
It's a
would
tough,
go ahead.
I'm just saying it's a tough thing, and so that's what the Silent No More testimonies are about as well, because they speak to that, and they show people who have gone through this and needed healing. So
So you speak in schools and churches and so.
we try to, but you really can't get in anywhere anymore at all.
How about private schools?
Some will let you in, some won't.
There's
And
this wall there.
oh yeah, and the thing too is, yeah, even in churches they don't want you there, so it's tough. They call it political, but to my mind, politics is just public morality, really. It's just public. So my gosh, the killing of babies, that politics? I don't think so.
People don't want to know that these babies are being murdered.
Absolutely.
New babes too.
Yeah.
Who is speaking at March for Life in May 11th?
Okay, so we have Dr. Callum Miller.
Yeah.
And he's the research associate at Oxford University and a UK medical doctor. Very interesting to listen to, and just has got all the facts. And on the panel that we'll have after his keynote is Dr. Haywood Robinson. He's a former abortionist, and he's with 40 Days for Life. We have Dr. Monique Ribeiro, and she's a pro-life OB/GYN and vice chair at 40 Days as well. And then we have Dr. Keely Williams, a family physician, medical director and board member of the Canadian Physicians for Life. And of course, Josie Litke, our moderator, and she's the director of education advocacy for Campaign Life Coalition. So that is going to be, it's going to be an awesome talk, an awesome presentation.
So will this be televised or streamed on?
No, the actual March for Life it's I have the times for that. It is on EWTN from 11:30 to 3:30 Eastern time, and that is Eastern time, and that is on May 11th. Also, some of the things, I don't know if you've asked this yet, but I'm going to tell you about all our week's activities.
Yes. What are you up
So
to?
we're starting. We've started with Life on Film, we call it. So once a month we present a film, and we send out a little invitation to everybody, and they can click on and watch it. This Sunday past, it was 180. Wow. We sent out the disclaimer, because it's pretty gruesome for the first 13 minutes, but it was very good, and it really shows how people they're ignoring this issue. Anyway, so we've been doing that since January, and on May 7th, we're doing the Dropbox. That will be our film, will be the Dropbox. So that's on May 7th, which is a Sunday, and then we're going to move into Monday. And this year we've done something new. We've paired with Net Canada, which is an evangelization group, and we are doing Songs for Life Coffee House at a local church here. So that should be fun. The next day, though, Tuesday evening, Dunn Media has produced a film, Roe Canada. Okay, so Roe Canada, the true North in a post-Roe world. So it's a very interesting documentary with a lot of interviews, and we've worked very closely with him. So Dunn Media, yes, they've done a lot of great movies, Dunn Media.
I'll get a hold of him, dear.
Oh yes, you should get a hold of him. He's a great speaker. Oh yes, I can send you Kevin's information, and he's also done the movie Fatal Flaws about euthanasia, and so he's very good. So anyways, they've come up with this movie, so we're having a sneak peek of a bunch of clips plus a round table discussion. So that's always interesting, I find, when you watch a movie. Yeah. And then the next night is a huge event, and on the Wednesday, and it's odd because I've always enjoyed it, but because we had to go online a few years ago, one of the fellows in our office said, "This needs to be, you need to publicize this more. This is incredible this evening." So what it is that we have a Catholic Mass ahead of time, but the vigil is at 9 to 10 o'clock at the Human Rights Monument here in Ottawa.
Right.
And it's a candlelit vigil. And it's all about prayer, because we believe that you can't do any of this without prayer. So this is a prayerful evening, and we have pastors and priests talk, but we have youth and testimonies and good music, and it's a very prayerful evening. So it's a great night. So then the next day, of course, as I mentioned to you, we have the masses in the morning and the rally, and the march, and the rose dinner, and the youth banquet. And then on Friday, we have the youth summit. So that's very exciting, especially to have the youth summit back. So I'm really looking forward to seeing how, and they have some incredible speakers there too. So.
Well, this is towards the end of the show. I would love to interview you again, dear.
Oh, sure. Absolutely.
I have so many questions, kid.
Right. Anyway, it's been very nice speaking to you, Patty.
It's very nice speaking to you as well. You're very enlightening, you might say.
Well, thank you for having me.
Thank you. And thank you for coming on to my show. This is Patty Hunter at Patty's Page. We'll see you next week. And thank you, Debbie Duval, for being
You're very welcome.
my guest.
Very welcome.
Godspeed, my love, until we meet again. You're always in my heart and every dream. Don't let this time apart give in to all our fears. God will keep us close from up above. So until we meet again, Godspeed, my love. God is with us always, and for the rest of all our